No one is wicked. I always say no one is wicked. People that are wicked knows how to be kind, mind you. They'll always have this person with whom they're gonna be sweet. So that's what I'm saying. People are not always wicked. It's a choice that you actually, because today we're like in a society where everyone want to be better, everyone want to show I can have this, you don't have this. It has bring like this competition, and it's not like a beautiful competition. It's like it's very odd between women, between the way someone is gonna treat you is a reflection of what the person sees in himself. So if you have that scar in you, instead of bringing it on another person, find a sister that's gonna help you to heal.
Hello.
Hey,
Look
sis.
what's going on. Hey, sis. Look what's happening.
Oh, wow.
How are you feeling? So this is our first ever podcast.
Oh, wow. I mean, at the same time, I'm excited and I'm a little bit like, stressing. I don't even know why.
Well, because you were running late.
How about that's true. But you know what? I was praying, okay? I went to church to ask God to bless for this podcast. So basically, I was late for the Christ. So it's like a pass.
We can't be mad because it's the Lord. That's what I told the team. I'm like, listen, she's at church. Who gets mad at somebody for being in church? Who? Yeah. So this is our first ever, like we said, podcast, and so it's going to be fun and interesting. We have a little schedule thing that we are hoping to stay within. Bear with us as we get our bearing, but we are supposed to start this with an introduction, like a warm welcome to our listeners. So let's say hi to the people. Let's get that energy up.
That's true. We're here like complaining about being late, but I mean, hope all of you are doing great. Hope you're having an amazing week and amazing year. Or if that's not the case, don't worry. Everything is going to come together, But we're so excited to be doing this podcast with all of you as, I don't know if you know, but the name is HEYSIS. Why? Because, it's all about sisterhood. It's all about love. It's all about friendship, which is even actually interesting because that's going to be our first episode, building and maintaining strong relationships.
Yes, but the people don't know you. So like you're like saying all these things. What is your name?
That's true.
What's up? Where are you located? Can we get your digits?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I was so excited and I even forgot to introduce myself. So, hey, sis, first of all, my name is Manuela. Okay. So I'm 27 years old. I am actually located in Paris, the city of love. Yeah. So I feel like I don't need to give you a whole resume about myself because, going through the next episode, you'll be actually, you have the chance, to know me better through our conversation, through our discussion, and even the debates we're going to be having. So sis, I think you can introduce yourself.
Well, listen, I didn't know we were telling ages and stuff. So my name is Sandra, and it's Sandra Kemayu, but I'm a Fonkwa. I was born a Fonkwa. You know what I'm saying? So this is actually my sister. So, and we decided to call our podcast Hey Sis because that's how we call each other all the time. Like, hey sis, hey sis. Yeah. And we have two other sisters who are not on the podcast. We hope that we're going to get them to be guests on the podcast. We have lots of siblings. We come from lots of brothers, and we come from a huge family. And so, we decided to put this podcast together because a lot of our conversations, I'm always like, this should be recorded because
definitely
epic in my opinion. So we'll see what you guys think, but they're just epic. So I'm located in Gambia. I was in the US for 20 years. So we are both from Cameroon, obviously born and raised. Moved to the US when I was 16 years old, was there for 20 years. And now I'm in between Gambia, spent my summer in Paris. I was just literally 2 days ago in Paris
she left me
with my sis. I just left. So recording right now in Nigeria. But yeah, this is very chill. We're wearing our PJs. Don't mind this full face of makeup. This is not going to I had a shoot earlier, that's why, but this is a very much a chill, casual conversation and podcast between sisters, and hopefully We're inviting you into our home, into our sisterhood, and we hope and pray that this is going to like be a highlight maybe of your day, or you can pick up something from what we're talking about and we can share and we can all grow together. So yeah.
Yes. Oh my God, that's a 10. You know, I couldn't present myself just like you did. That's why we're sisters. You know, I'm learning from you.
Girl, you for the and did you see how I didn't tell my age? Do you see what I did there?
Yeah, you went in like so smoothly. You like, you know, I'm coming from a big family. You don't need to know my name.
You don't need to know. Just know I'm older, you know, like I'm her older sister. That's all you need to know. Don't be
That's all you need to know,
business.
guys. First of all, we don't give a woman's age, okay? So
no, ma'am. No.
Thank you.
We do not. Oh, but I do have 3 kids, and so I think we are a different generation. I'm a millennial. Are you a millennial?
God, I don't know. I mean, I'm born in 1997.
Oh, are you a Gen 1997? What generation is that? Who here is born 1997? Is that millennial? No, I'm the last. Am I not the cutoff? No, you're not a millennial. I'm the cutoff.
Okay, I don't know.
She's a Gen Z. You are a Gen Z, so
I'm a
perfect.
Gen Z.
So
okay.
You are a Gen Z. So it's amazing because we have a Gen Z amazing lady in Paris, and then I'm a millennial, and with 3 kids, and so we have like a spectrum of like I feel like we cover a lot of different generations and things like that, and so we hope that we will be able to connect with different audiences, right?
Yeah.
Because we have just different background and realities.
Yeah, exactly.
Realities
I mean, I totally agree
different.
with you. No, it's definitely different. It's definitely different.
Listen, okay.
I mean, so sis, you left on Saturday. I haven't been with you. So how is your week going?
Chill. So I left on Saturday to come to Nigeria, which Dre, my husband, was telling me he feels like I am a few conversations away from saying we should move to Nigeria. We shall see. But Nigeria is you know how I feel about it. It's vibes.
Yeah, it's a whole vibe.
It's vibes. I've been home though, so y'all might think I've been outside, but I've been actually inside the house. I was home yesterday because I knew I had a busy week. So far so good. The team is here. And they're like taking behind the scenes stuff and everything. But like I said, we had a whole shoot because I have a book coming out and I have a coaching company. So I have a team here in Nigeria, which is why I come often. Wow. But it's been good. Like today was like, I'll say 10 out of 10. Like the team.
Oh, wow. That's what we love. We love that when people start with a 10 on 10. That's so beautiful.
Listen, okay.
Oh, you
now
should.
Check in next week. But like today it's been a really good, I'm looking forward to taking this makeup off. I'm eating is it fisherman soup? Have you ever had fisherman soup?
I don't think so, honestly.
Me neither. I think it's like pepper soup, their version of pepper soup.
Yeah, but
with
with fish, just fish in need. That's it.
Oh, they're saying no. Okay, the team is saying it's not pepper soup.
Okay.
Anyway, it's some soup.
All right.
With seafood. So I'm having that with Gary, Fufu Gary. And so that's what I've not had food today. So that's what I'm like right after this is going down. So but my day was good. How was your day?
Oh, wow. First of all, I just feel like your vibe is completely different because when she was in Paris, she was eating cheese, croissant, salad almost every day. I'm hearing like gari,
fufu,
like soup, fufu.
Okra.
Oh, wow. Gee, my sister. Like, no, this girl, that's nice. That's nice. We can actually bring you anyway. So that's great. So my week is quite interesting, to be honest. So I started like a 25 days fasting, which is like called the Year of the Bride. And I encourage many people to actually do that fasting, you know. And, it's the first day and I can say that I have been like, you know, my spirit has been going up and down all over the place. And I'm having like a very beautiful experience. So I had to go to church today. It was a must, you know. I had to thank God for all of this revelation. And actually, there's something I would love to share with you, which is like a personal update.
Okay, give me updates, child. Us and our besties and all of the sis that are listening. Go ahead, child, and give us updates.
Exactly. So, I actually entered this week being a little bit worried and a little bit anxious. You know, I kind of felt like I was a little bit discouraged. Woke up this morning, didn't want to go to exercise, didn't want to work. So, while I was reading the 25 days of fasting, I was actually on day one. I came across this passage in the Bible. Just give me a sec. I'm gonna share this with you real quick.
Please share.
Okay. All right. So, okay. Just sorry. I wrote it down. It's take a little time.
No worries. That's okay. What happened? Okay. It's good now. Okay.
The recording stuff. Okay. So is this passage is actually the book of Esther, chapter 9, verses 1. It actually describes a pivotal moment where the Jews who were facing extermination instead of triumph over the enemies due to the king degree. So this was like a turnaround symbolizing deliverance and victory against seemingly enormous art. And it happened on the 13th day of the 12th month. And I was born on the 13th of December.
That is true.
To 1997. So I was like, wait a minute, this is like so big of a coincidence. So I wanted to dive into it and actually understand what that meant. So what I actually learned from it means that I was born with a resilient spirit and a destiny marked by overcoming adversity. And this was like a wake up call for me because I was actually venting, like, why is all of these things happening to me? Because as you know, I was supposed to start a new job today, but the company just cut it off. On my papers, my resident permit, and many personal stuff that was happening. And I was like, was it like in every season in my life, I'm always going through like tribulation, trials, and going back into these verses and actually to realize that I was born with a spirit of adversity, but a spirit that was actually going to help me and enable me to actually like conquer any kind, of battle I may meet upon my road. So this was like so beautiful. This was like a beautiful revelation for me today. So I just wanted to share with you guys.
Thank you for sharing. I think that's so powerful. Like, thank you so much. I think that's going to help a lot of people. You say that's Esther chapter
9 and is verses 33. Yeah.
Chapter 9 verses 33. That's thank you for
but don't
sharing
worry,
this.
I will actually put the description down. I will actually write down the verse for people that may want to go and read it, because I feel like even if you're not born on the 13th of December, this is a powerful. It still applies, to understand that we are all born with a spirit of victory, regardless of what kind of situation we are in life, we're always going to win. That's a fact.
Amen to that. Amen to that. I love that. Okay, perfect. So our next segment is our hot topic. And today I believe we are talking, sis, about maintaining like friendship and relationship and sisterhood, right? And we thought that was like a great first podcast, right? Because our whole thing is built, HEYSIS is built on relationship and sisterhood and all that good stuff. So my question for you is, how important is friendship and sisterhood in your life?
Oh, wow. This is like a powerful question. So thank you for even asking that. So lately, I would say that friendship and sisterhood is like a key factor in my life, I would just talk about you and me. So I grew up in Cameroon. My sister grew up in Cameroon, but what she didn't tell you is that we did not grow in the same house, because she went to the US when she was almost like 15 years old. And I was still with my parents. So basically, and growing up, we didn't really have this relationship that we have today. We had to actually build it. But what I'm going to say is that it happened so naturally. So, I believe that in order to have a strong relationship with someone and to maintain a relationship, you need to come in at 100%. You need to be natural. You need to be sincere, because that's the only way you can enjoy a relationship. That's the only way you can, actually build something from scratch, like on a very strong foundation. So over the years, over the days, I would say my relationship with my sister, which is Sandra, actually went from like, 10 to 10 to 10 to 10 to 10 to 10. And every year was just like, wow, she's so amazing. Wow. I want to be like, I want to be a mom like her. I want to have this intelligence she has, this emotional intelligence, this faith she has. Like she's always on the go. And to get to 2024 and having her is in my life, I'm so thankful. And that's where I'm like, it's so important, you know, to be able to build this kind of relationship. It's not easy, you know, it's really not easy. We had our downs, but one thing which is in our relationship is that we never use hot or harsh words. Never, never, ever. We always use like, always going to be using like words of affirmations. You know, I'll always tell her, like, oh, sis, I'm so proud of you. I'll be like, her number one. Okay, she has a husband, but, you know, I'm her number one fan.
Yep.
I'm her number one fan. And going through adversity, you know, it's so beautiful to have someone that I know I can call her, even if it's to vent. But I know while we venting, she will always bring out this little light, this little message that I need to hear. So, yeah, it's very important for me. Having and maintaining a strong relationship is the goal. It is the goal. You know, I feel like when you have a strong relationship with like your sister, it can be your friend, it can be your aunt, it can be your coworker too, you know?
Yes.
It's very important on the person you're going to become tomorrow. It's so important on the mom you're going to be tomorrow, on the wife you're going to be tomorrow, you know?
That's true.
So this is why I'll have to share. What about you, sis?
Listen, okay, I agree with you 1,000%. I think that having a big family made me even like, I think we all go through phases, right? I remember a phase where Anik, our older sister, would say like, you think your friends are your sisters. Like you will go all out for your friends, your best friends, in a way like you would let your best friend get your car, right? Yeah. You would do anything for them. But then when it comes to your sisters, it's a pause, you know. And I don't know if everybody goes through that phase, but I know I definitely did, where I was like, no, but like my friends are like my ride or die. Like you don't understand what we've gone through. You don't, you know, all of that. And I think also for us in our families, there's a gap, right? Like even with me and Anik, the gap in years, like she left, I was still super young. And so because we didn't have a lot of shared experiences where you can, because I think that's what makes sisterhood is shared experiences, right? You have to be able to connect. And so I didn't go to college at the same time that my sister went to college. So so we didn't experience those things at the same time. And so it was easy for me to then be like, oh, but my best friend is like a sister. She's closer than a sister. And I had to learn. And that's where, like, if you live long enough, you learn. I had to learn, like, friendships are great, but if you have the blessing of being able to also have your family, your sisters, your brothers, your cousins as your best friend, if you can cultivate that relationship, it is so much more sweeter. Because at the end of the day, and I've seen it, right? Like, if something bad happened, like our grandma passed away, God bless her soul. Yeah, you tell your friends, it's a thing for them that moment, but they're going to go to sleep.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're sad, but they're going to go to sleep. But like when it's your sister, it's your grandma. And so it's a thing that you go through. Like we went to Cameroon. I don't have any friends that went to Cameroon with me, which I wouldn't expect.
Yes.
Right. And
that's true. I mean, that's quite expensive.
You know what I mean? And so I think being a better sister makes me automatically a better friend, makes me automatically a better mother. And like I said, it hasn't always been top priority for me in a way that it is now, for me to make sure that like my sisters know that I got their back. And we're not perfect, please. First of all, like, because my other sister, Nani, is going to be listening like, just what you're telling the people, because last time when I asked you for, so we are not here trying to like, we are not here trying to write a book on sisterhood. We are not here trying to say that we are expert or we have it all figured out, because we have our fights, we have our disagreements. But sisterhood and building sisterhood has been a priority for me over the past 2 years, like literally on my vision board. Like I want deep, meaningful relationship with women. Because we learn from each other, we grow with each other, and the way that we relate is just a different thing. So I really value that. And speaking of you, Manu, I look up to you. Like, yes, you are my baby sis and all those things. I
really?
do. Like, I love your heart. I think, you know, and you guys are going to get to tell the different personalities when we are like discussing topics. But like, one thing about my sister is that she's so forgiving, which is like, I think that we should all, like, it's in the Bible, like somewhere in the Bible, I'm sure, because I skipped that part in the Bible because I'm like, eye for an eye. I skipped that part. But like, your heart is so forgiving and so giving, and like, your love language is serving people. And I think that that is, and you are so selfless. And I also love that you have self-awareness. You know, a lot of people don't have that, where you be like, sis, should I have, maybe I did something here. Maybe I should have looked at this situation this way or that way or this other way. And I think that is so powerful that you have that ability, and you are always seeing the best in people. I'm like, girl, this person, I don't know why we are still talking about this person. This person here, I've left him with his Lord or his devil. I don't know whose child he is. But you're like, but no. Have you ever, you be like, sis, have you ever sat down to think about? I'm like, no, I've not thought, and I've not sat down. But I appreciate that about you, because what that means is that you're a builder, right? You are somebody that brings people together. It's just powerful to me. Like, you are the type of people that God wants to build with, wants to build his church, wants to build his kingdom with. Right. And so I'm excited that the listeners get to experience the fullness, hopefully the fullness of who you are and all the things.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. This is so beautiful.
That's my sis. That's my sis. That's my sis.
Please get someone to hype you just the way she did, okay?
Nobody hypes you more than your sister. Yeah, let me tell you something.
Do I still need a man in my life? I don't think so.
I know we do need a man, because we need a wedding. I need a wedding because I've started working out. I need to be snatched. Listen, yes, we still need, but we want the right man. We don't want just any man. We want like the man designed for you. So
exactly. I mean, amen to that.
Yeah, nobody's thirsty. No, the phone call girls are not thirsty girls.
We're not thirsty girls.
We are full. We are hydrated.
No, but you know what? I mean, with this message that my sister just gave, you know, this exchange, this is what is beautiful about sisterhood. You know, this is what makes it important. This is why it's actually important to maintain a sisterhood, because guys, you know, you can have like a very bad day. You know, it happens, but to have someone that's just gonna be like, hey sis, but you know, you're just a wonderful soul. You're beautiful.
Come on.
You got everything for you. Who's going to tell you something again? No one's going to tell you anything. Like right now, let me tell you something. If someone enters here and tell me like, I don't value you, I don't consider you, I'm like, I have a forgiving heart. You know what? This is what.
Have you met me? Have you met me?
Have you met me? You know, this is what is so beautiful. And it's kind of a little bit sad, because I'm also going to talk about like the downfall of sisterhood.
Ooh,
because today we're like in a society where everyone want to be better. Everyone want to show that I can have this. You don't have this.
Come on.
It has bring like this competition, and it's not like a beautiful competition. It's like it's very odd between women, between sisters. And you know, it actually makes me think about like this passage in the Bible, in the book of Revelation, when God says that fathers are going to go against your sons, mothers are going against your daughters. You know, it actually describes what is happening right now. That doesn't mean that this is correct. That doesn't mean that this is what we are supposed to do. But because we are so blind by what we desire, what we think is important, we get to hate on each other. I've been hearing many women saying like, oh, I don't, for example, you know, talking about, let's say you have a friend that got married. You be like, oh, maybe she just got married with him because of his money, you know, or maybe you're going to say, but she's not even beautiful. She's not coming from a prestigious family. What has it seen on her? These are the downfall of sisterhood. We don't need that, because guess what? In everyone's eye, like I always say this, the way someone is going to treat you is a reflection of what the person sees in himself. So if you have that scar in you, instead of bringing it on another person, find a sister that's going to help you to heal. You don't need to, be backfiring each other like, oh, I hate you, I don't like you, based on words, things that are not even real, things that are gonna come and go. No.
Come on.
So, I mean, I've been seeing a lot of things. And mind you guys, I used to be that kind of person too. Okay. As I said, I've not always been this person. I used to hate on girls. I'll be going on Instagram, be looking at this guy and be like, I don't think she's fine. I'm like, maybe she doesn't really have money, just stupid things. But by the time, you get to experience certain things in life, and I give glory to God for that, you realize that the way you have been acting was wrong. And mind you realize that you are actually that person. This critics that you were giving another person, this was actually you. It was coming from a place of pain. It was you being so hurt, But as my sister says, it always takes a village for you to actually recognize that. And I'm inviting all of the people, all the viewers, to take a moment and reflect on your behavior. It can be your behavior of 10 years to now. You may have become a better person, but it's always good to go back into the past and see who you were and ask yourself, am I where I want to be today? And if you were that person, how do you want to actually help other sisters that are going through that? Because no one is wicked. I always say no one is wicked. Okay, look at my face. Guys, I believe no one is wicked because I don't believe I don't believe that we were born to do wicked things. And I can actually hold my fact with something. People that are wicked knows how to be kind. Mind you. They'll always have this person with whom they're going to be sweet. So that's what I'm saying. People are not always wicked. It's a choice that you actually make. And it usually comes from maybe where you grew up, maybe the pains you went through,
That's
and
true.
I know many people don't have this chance that my sister and we have today to be able to actually go to her, be able to be vulnerable towards her and talk to her. But guess what? You can do it. You can do it. And my prayer today is for you to actually have that spirit, that revelation that's going to help you to find this sisterhood. It can be us, it can be my sister. It can be Sandra. It can be me. You can write to us no matter what you're going through. We are here for that. HEYSIS is not about coming over here on this platform and talking. No, we are here to serve. We are here to give you this energy you need to the other life. So since what do you have to add on this?
I love that. No, you said it all. One thing that I wanted to ask, and I'm looking at our time and the team is flashing time's up. But one thing that I wanted to ask you, and maybe that's a different episode, but have you ever experienced friendship hurt or sisterhood hurt? And how do people, because there are people that might be listening saying, yeah, I have a blood sister, or I have a friend that I thought was a sister and that didn't work. How does one go about overcoming that so they can open themselves up again and they can believe that it's even possible for themselves?
Yeah, I love your question. So yeah. And again, I'm going to talk about one of my sister, my other older sister, Nani. I'm very close to her too. And I went through a moment in a season, I would say, with her where I felt like sometimes the way she was talking to me, was hurtful. But I had to take time, to sit down before going to her and telling her hey, sis, I don't appreciate the way you're talking to me. I had to sit down and analyze the situation. I was like, okay, is she doing this because she hates me? Or is she actually doing this because she loves me, but she just doesn't know how to talk to me? She doesn't know how to come to me. And once I sat down and I reflect on that, the first thing that came to my mind is my sister loved me more than anything. So just with that, I was able to forgive. I was able to accept her how she is. And I was able to go to her, not in telling her oh, you're a bad person because you're talking to me like this. Who do you think you are? No, I was able to go to her and tell her, hey, sis, I would love for you to, when I do something, maybe you come to me in a different way, on a different tone, and that's how I was able to actually see other things than her being mean, when she's talking, and actually learn about her and know really who she is. Because
that's good.
Because it can be your blood sister, but guess what? People change. Everyone changes.
People change and evolve.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you need to adapt. You need to actually, that's what we talk about, maintaining a relationship. Because if I was staying back in 2009 to whom she used to be, I was going to continue being hurt. You know, I cannot be living in the past when people are moving. So sometimes I believe that people will hurt you. But hey, guys, you cannot always stay in the victim position. You need to ask yourself, is this person doing this because she doesn't like me? And if the answer is she doesn't like me, then you just put some distance. You forgive.
Boundaries.
But you put boundaries.
Yes.
God, you put boundaries. It is very, very, very important to set boundaries in your life, especially in your relationship with your sisters. It is important. So, sis, I hope I was able to answer your question.
No, that was amazing. That was a great answer. Great answer. So let's then get to the next segment, which is where we read through a letter from you guys, and we'll put the details on how you guys can. We need to set up that email. Like I said, this is our first. It's our first episode, but we'll set up the email and we'll have it somewhere on here. But so we got an email that I want to read to you, and then we can talk about it. How does that sound?
Yeah, that's great. Go ahead, sis.
Okay. All right. So, dear Sandra and Manuela, my name is Ashley, and I'm 26 years old. Over the past few years, I've struggled with building and maintaining strong friendship. Many of my close friends from college have moved to different cities, and it's been challenging to stay connected with them while also trying to make new friends in my current city. I've noticed that as we get older, it becomes harder to form deep, meaningful connections. Work and personal commitment often get in the way, and I sometimes feel isolated and lonely despite having a busy social calendar. I miss the close, supportive friendship I once had and often find myself longing for the deep sense of connection and sisterhood. How do you go about building new friendships as an adult? And what are some effective ways to maintain and nurture these relationships despite busy schedule? How can I reconnect with old friends and strengthen those bonds even if we are miles away? Your advice and experience on building and sustaining strong friendship will be super helpful. Thank you for being such a positive influence.
Oh my God, this is so sad. At the same time, like, oh my God, I kind of feel her a little bit because when I was going to college, all my friends moved to different countries. I remember I would always be crying, but like, oh my God, you guys all left me behind. How am I going to do? But what I want to tell her is, first thing first is that don't run into things. You know, sometimes you have to be in a season where you need to be calm. You know, I understand that no one, enjoys being alone, and we're not meant to be alone. But you need to, what I do today is I'll write down a list of my character, and I'll write down who I am, what I'm lacking. And this will actually help me to pinpoint what I'm looking for in a friendship. Based on that, now I will ask myself, okay, on this, where are the places where I can meet this kind of person? Let's say, for example, I want someone that has a very good relationship or with God, who's very faithful. Guess what? I'll be going to church or I'll be going to hiking, because usually they say people that go to hiking, they're always like into nature, spirituality. If I'm looking for someone that, want to party and all of those things, you have Eventbrite, which is a very great app, by the way. You can see many events where you can try and, do like a SVP. You will meet a lot of beautiful people over there. Yes. This is going to be the advice I can give you. And now on how to maintain your distant relationship. So back in 2015, when I was already in college, what we would do with my girls is that we will actually set an appointment. We'll set an appointment one day per week. And eventually, as days were passing, we got like very, very busy. So what we'll do is that we'll always remember to check on each other at least once per month. So I think this is how you can do with it. So I wish you all the best luck. I know it's not easy. So I also pray for you to have like a spirit of discernment, because you need to be careful, especially like when you're not adult, who you're letting in. I always say it's rather to be, my sister can relate to that, because it's better to be alone than to be like with 1,000 of friends. I'm new into that. So, sis, what can you add on that?
Yeah, no, I love the steps that you highlighted. I think it's interesting because I'm cool being alone. And I'm cool being alone, and I don't know if I've ever really sat down and be like, ooh, like I want to make new friends, because I'm one of those people who like, I'm cool with the old friends. What's wrong with the old friends? Now, I do understand that maybe when, you know, like if those friends were toxic and like you met them in a stage of your life where you've outgrown that, you're no longer that person, that's fine. But I also just think that I'm one who's like, okay, I'm one who feels in my spirit that anything I need, God will provide for me. So like if something or somebody is not in my life, they're not meant to be. And I also am one who believes that if you were meant to stay, you could not leave.
That's
I'm
true.
gonna say that again.
No,
like
that's
if you
true.
were meant to stay, you will try to go and you will not be able to leave. So I'm not one who sits
Amen, that's
ever.
true.
I have never, to be honest with you, I've never sat down and said like, oh my gosh, like where are all my friends? Like I have never, because I have so many siblings that like I could literally fill up my whole day if I'm lonely and just call everybody, and like I will need 3 days. You know, that's just direct sibling. I've not even talked about the cousins. I've not even talked about, so because I grew up in such a busy, hectic, like the household there was always people. I find that I crave for like solitude. Like I'm one who loves like to be with my thoughts and process my thoughts. So like we've talked about this a lot. Like I don't necessarily need friends the way that people need friends for, like how people need friends sometimes, I think, so that it numbs the noise.
Exactly.
Or drowns the noise in their lives. And so they are always searching and seeking. So I would say my best advice would be to ask yourself, how am I a friend? Like, how am I as a friend? How would I rate myself as a friend? Because I believe that if you want better friends, you need to be a better friend. And that's a conversation that I've had to have with myself. Like, if you feel like nobody supports you, are you supportive? Because I've rarely found somebody that was supportive and there for other people, and people don't reciprocate. So I think that really asking yourself, what happened to the old friends? And do we throw all of them out? How do we maintain? Today it's easy, like you said, the appointments, scheduling, what's up. I'm not a phone person. Don't call me too much, but like I'll send you a voice note. Right? I'll check in. And so like checking in and figuring out what your style is. Some people want to see other people, so then maybe it's a video chat. Some other people prefer voice notes, some other people, and understanding the stage that your friends are in. Because I think one thing too that happens is you might be 26, but let's say that your friends all got married, or you are married now with kids. You're in a different phase of your life, and sometimes your friends too feel like, oh, let me not call her, she's with her husband. Let me not invite her to the club because she has a kid now.
That's
and
true.
it's those transitions. And so I would suggest having conversations with your friends, like how Manu, you said it, like, hey, where are you now? Like, I know how we used to support each other, and I know how our friendship used to be set up, but now how do I show up for you as a friend? What does that look like for you now? And you might be surprised that now for her it's a text, right? Or now for her is you send her food once a month. Like, you might be surprised what she's looking for out of the friendship now versus what it used to be. So hopefully this helps. I wish you all the luck in the world, but also know that you have everything that you need all around you. Like, and so like changing the perspective of like, I don't have versus to like, everything I need, I have. Everything I need, God has provided for me.
Exactly.
And I'm open to that, and I'm excited to like receive that. I think we'll go a long way.
No, I love what you said, sis. It's about like, okay, how can I use what I already have rather than like what I don't have? I love it. I love how you place it. That's so true. And I think this is something that we need to do like in every aspect of our life, not only like in looking for new friends. You know?
Yes, because we are so blessed and we have so much. And so gratitude. I'm always like, there's somebody that's worse. Even if you're like, oh, but Sandra, I'm dying of, I don't know, God forbid, cancer. But there's somebody that's already there. There's a baby that didn't even have one day. Like, I think we can always, you know, like, we can have self-pity, or we can remember that for a lot of us that are listening to this, if you live in the West, you're making more money than 99% of the population in the world. Even if you're making minimum wage, right? There are people living on less than $100 that have like real life issues. Like, and I'm not saying friends is not real life issues, but like literally can't even, they don't know what they're going to eat tomorrow. And so like, I think perspective is so important. Whereas you can just go on Eventbrite, you can just like talk to your coworkers. Like, let's
Exactly.
reframe the perspective that you're not lacking, and
You're
that
not.
you can find friends and you can make friends, because
You're not.
we are social beings. So
Yeah, we are.
okay, so we are at times, sis.
Oh my God, I'm so proud of us. You know, I thought we were gonna go like up to like 45 minutes or 15 minutes. Oh wow.
Well, we are
Oh.
38:55. We still have to do our outro. My team is like doing this to me, like, girls, like, what y'all doing? But like I said, we are getting our bearing. I think we did. Hopefully, y'all tell us, how would
Yeah.
you rate this first, and be nice.
Please be nice, bury us. This is the first time.
Okay. How would you rate this first episode that we had? Let us know. Comments, share with your friends, your family. Let them know there's something about these Funqua girls. They're outside and they're having these podcasts, and share it with your folks. We are super duper excited, and we thank you guys so much for listening. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one, sis.
Yes. So I will close this with like, I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful because it's beautiful all what we're saying, but this is like actually a project we've been talking about for a very long time. And we're so happy. You can't even imagine to share all of this with you guys. Our dream is to grow up all together, to get to meet one another at one point, you know. I don't care if you're in China or in India. I mean, we're going to get a ticket to come and meet you guys. So I can't wait to see you in the next episode, which is going to be so nice because we'll be talking about empowerment and finding your voice. So stay tuned, guys, and see you in the next episode.
See you later. Bye, sissy.
Bye, sissy. Have a good time in Nigeria.
I will. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.